Why do people shoot modern movies in black and white? Why should you shoot your films or photos in black and white? And more importantly, when should you shoot in black and white? It seems to me that in today's age, black and white has become this kind of aesthetic. Gen Z is obsessed with nostalgia, and black and white videography or photography can often remind us of films and photos from the past, creating this sense of nostalgia. I used to think that this was the main reason why you would want to shoot in black and white today. However, in 2018, when the film Roma was released, the director, Alfonso Cuarón, one of my personal favorite directors, said this.
It's black and white, but it's not a nostalgic black and white. It's a digital 65mm black and white.
So why did he shoot it in black and white? What used to be a limitation in old film cameras has become a choice for many filmmakers. But apart from nostalgia, what does black and white bring to the table that color doesn't? That might seem like an absurd question at first. Color was the innovation that replaced black and white. But there is definitely a difference between an image in color and a black and white image, and if you learn to recognize the unique qualities that each has, you can take advantage of both. But so, what unique qualities does black and white have that color doesn't? One of the qualities of black and white is that because there is no color in the image whatsoever, the image can often look bleaker, devoid of the kind of vibrancy you get with color. Sometimes it can set a darker tone. By the late 1950s, color in movies had become the norm. Most Hollywood films were being shot in color, and yet Alfred Hitchcock decided to shoot his 1960 film, Psycho, in black and white. Hitchcock had previously done films in color, but with Psycho, Hitchcock wanted a darker, more bleak tone for the film, and he felt the black and white conveyed that tone better. Another film that utilizes black and white to convey bleakness is the film Wings of Desire. It's a film about an angel who desires to be human and experience life as a human after falling in love with a woman. The majority of the film is in black and white, as we see our angel observe the world through his higher perspective. The black and white is a purposeful choice to show the bleak way in which he sees the world, always at a distance, never being able to participate in it. But during the third act of the film, when he becomes human, suddenly the film is in color, representing how he now views the world as a human, being able to use all of his senses. This is an excellent example of how black and white can be used in a creative and artistic way to tell a story. So black and white can sometimes be used to add to the bleak tone of a film, which helps to express the story artistically. But there is another unique quality that black and white has that isn't as present in color, which is texture. Because there is no color to distract the viewer, the lighting really pops, allowing the textures in the image to really pop. The YouTuber Thomas Flight has a really great video where he touches on this, comparing the color version of the film Parasite to the black and white version of the film. Because in black and white there is no color to distract the viewer, the contrast between the bright parts of the image and the dark parts of the image really pop and heighten the contrast. I recently went on a trip, and some of the photos that I took, I intentionally took in black and white to put an emphasis on the contrast between light and dark elements. I found this kind of use of black and white very noticeable in the film Güeros. The film seemingly takes place somewhere in between the late 90s and early 2000s, and it is shot in a 4:3 aspect ratio, so you might think that the black and white is used in a sort of nostalgic way. But I think it's more than that. This film has an insane use of texture throughout. The camera just gets up extremely close on details, putting an emphasis on the texture, the way an object or person feels. You almost feel like you can just reach out to the screen and touch what you are seeing. It is really an experience, and I think that the black and white adds to this, really heightening the texture in everything and making it feel almost touchable. So black and white can also be used to heighten texture in an image and emphasize the contrast between the bright and dark elements in an image. But there is another quality to black and white that you probably already know: nostalgia. Although I don't think nostalgia is even the right word for it, at least not all the time. Black and white can often remind us of older movies or remind us of an older time. One of my favorite examples being Mank, which really does feel like an old Hollywood film from the 1930s or 40s. Its black and white style fits the film's setting really well, and I found it to be quite immersive. However, using black and white to emphasize the time period isn't always done in a way that you would call nostalgic or romantic. Here's Steven Spielberg talking about why he shot Schindler's List in black and white.
I don't know the Holocaust in color. I wasn't around then, but I've seen documentaries on the Holocaust. And anybody who's seen any documentaries, they're all shot in black and white. It's my only reference point. And
you wanted this to feel real?
I wanted it to feel real, and the only reference point we had, it was contextualized in black and white for anybody that watched a documentary on it.
Nostalgia isn't exactly the word I would use to describe what Spielberg tried to do with his black and white cinematography in Schindler's List, but if I had to choose a word, maybe I would go with the word realism. We only know the Holocaust visually through old black and white footage of the Holocaust. By filming Schindler's List in black and white, the film appears almost documentary-like, giving the sense that what we are seeing is real. Spielberg's only reference point of the Holocaust is that old black and white documentary footage, and he wanted to create the film using only what he knew. He felt that this was the only way to make the film, so he went with his gut. Similarly, Alfonso Cuarón went with his gut when he shot Roma in black and white, and his reasons for doing so are quite interesting.
Consciously, what I was trying to do was to honor the sense of space, but also the sense of time, allowing the scenes to flow, in which the camera is more like a ghost that comes from the future and is in that place and is just witnessing. And that was the reason also I discussed with Chivo while he was there, the idea of shooting black and white but digital 65. So it was contemporary filmmaking looking into the past.
So black and white can be used to emphasize the past, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is always in a nostalgic, romantic, or aesthetic way. So to sum it all up, black and white can be used to emphasize a bleaker or dark tone, it can be used to emphasize texture, or it can be used to emphasize a different time period. There should always be an intention when shooting in black and white, and when done well and creatively, the result can be beautiful. But enough talk, let's actually go shoot some black and white right now. Vas a salir en mi video de YouTube.
¿Para qué?
Se trata sobre cinematografía en blanco y negro.
Nice.
So I guess what I'm looking for is sort of like composition where you got some really bright and dark elements to create like a cool contrast. That's sort of the kind of images I'm going for. Just found someone I know. ¿Quieres salir en mi video de YouTube? Pues ya te estoy grabando. Dile hola a la audiencia.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Por qué te urge la llamada? Bueno, te voy a tomar foto. I think this is kind of cool. How about these leaves? I kind of want something with texture in it. No, not that. There's a crow. It went away. I think it had a worm in its mouth. I really have to get out and practice photography more. I feel like I should be better at this. I want to find like photos that specifically look good in black and white. Going on an adventure to find good black and white images. I feel like it'd look cool if we had like a person right there, but I have no person. If I just use myself. I have no tripod, but if I did this. Okay, actually this is a cool, this could make a good photo. Black and white photography is kind of interesting because like I'm looking at my environment and I'm purposely not focusing on the colors at all. Like, you know, regularly I'd see something that has a cool color and I'm like, oh, let's take a photo of that. But now I can't do that. I'm just focusing on light over here. Found a circle here. Shooting in black and white can be pretty fun. I hope that you take what you learned from this video to work on your own black and white projects, of course, if it fits your story. If you like this video, you may want to consider subscribing because I will be making more videos like this one. So you'd be doing yourself a favor and I would really appreciate it. Thank you.